officially live. Turns out we had a bit of a technical issue. I could have sworn we were live, you guys, for the last 10 minutes. All right. If you're catching this on the replay, allow me to tell you like what just went down. And if you're live with us now, I apologize for not going live immediately because we had a technical issue. I had this stream scheduled for 11 o'clock as normal. I did the whole countdown and everything. And I noticed that no one was really filing in. And I was like, is no one even watching? Because I don't even have like a view count. And I kind of realized, wait, something must be up. I never have like 0 people in the stream, like something's up here. And it turns out one of the logins wasn't synced up on my Restream software. So this show never even went live. And I've been talking to myself for the past 11 minutes, all sad and mopey, thinking no one was going to show up. But here we are. Welcome back to another episode of the Artist Pro Show, where you submit your music feedback. You submit your music, we give you feedback. This is also a place for you to ask any questions regarding career insight, music marketing. For those who are new, because I know we do get people who are coming in now via the Twitch stream who see the show and don't know what the hell it's about. For those who are new, my name is Hisham Dahoud. I am a music professional here in Los Angeles, California. My background is primarily in music marketing when it comes to the industry side of the business, but I have been a musician all my life, and I also work as a composer and producer for various projects, licensing projects, catalog, and I have my own artist project as well. So I kind of walk both lines of the music industry as an industry guy. I've been doing music marketing since 2010. And that's kind of been the primary bill generator. Although I've always believed in multiple streams of income, particularly if you can fuel one of those streams, or hopefully many of those streams, with things that you genuinely do enjoy to do. Not to say I don't enjoy music marketing. Frankly, I actually really like music marketing, especially when I know I'm making a big impact. But I mean, come on, we're all here because we love to make music. Making music, the process of music making in the investigation, I guess you can say, of music making has always been very attractive to me. And I've always thought if I can make some income on the music side, why not? So I also produce music, like I said, for libraries and licensing. However, that's what I would call like the filtered artistic avenue. Filtered meaning that typically when I do produce music for those sorts of things, there are parameters. There are, hey, we need this certain sound. We need 7 tracks that sound like this. Or if I'm doing the film score, hey, we need something that's, very much within the director's kind of vision. Whereas having an artist project, I think is very important too, because you have an unfiltered avenue. I can do whatever the hell I want, particularly because I still am a relatively undiscovered artist. I mean, I have millions of streams on Spotify and whatnot. But I've kind of been like a service provider in that regard. I've been on playlists, on editorial playlists. But I still have the obscurity that frankly many of us who are involved in the stream have. So I have the ability to experiment, and thank God for that, because if I would have gotten, popular, I guess you can say, from a public standpoint, as Rizek, given the early stuff, I'd be very bummed because I'd be making just that music and I've already evolved from that. And frankly, there's so much self-discovery I have left, particularly within the setup. This is my proxy for my actual live drum kit. So I hop on here, I work out patterns and rhythms. I kind of sync them to Ableton over there behind me, although I should probably move that over there to make things even easier. Oliver Blue, what's cracking, dude? Welcome back to the stream. And then I take whatever patterns and rhythms and I take them to my rehearsal space where I have a live drum set and I record over there. Also kind of new to my process lately. And this is something that I think I'll be doing in the next iteration of the Artist Pro stream that we're doing now. Again, because we are off for the next 3 weeks when I'm on vacation, basically, overseas. So I'll be back with a new and improved Artist Pro show. But this time I plan on making it more... I wouldn't say more music focused, but yeah, kind of more music focused, at least from the sense of me kind of showcasing like what I'm doing, what I'm working on. But a new thing that I'm working on now, I'm picking up actually, is really leaning into actual instruments a bit more. I've just been finding that I've been getting bored. I've been getting bored pretty easy producing, if I'm honest. I found myself that like, it's kind of a shame and kind of a waste, frankly, that I'm only really using these instruments when they're plugged into an interface and I'm tracking. So I've been playing just the bass a lot more. I recently just picked up a new Fender practice amp just to play bass a lot more. And I've kind of realized something as a drummer and percussionist. Obviously, everyone kind of knows that the drums and bass typically go together like peanut butter and jelly, and they become the rhythm section. And someone who's been playing the drums all their life, like I am, can probably attest to the fact that it's kind of like playing catch. Hear me out. If I'm in a band, and again, I grew up in band settings. I didn't produce music first. I my first introduction to music creation was in a band setting. Okay, that's how I started making music. When you're in a band and you have a really good bass player, and they're just sending you really dope licks, bass licks, I swear to God, you guys, as a drummer, it's like someone tossing me like a pitcher, like a practice pitch, and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna crush this. If I have a really good, if I have a really good toss, someone's just throwing me up like or if you want to use basketball, it's like an alley oop. It's like I'm gonna position this perfectly. So it's my job to literally knock them down as they set them up. So I kind of know what I respond to really well when it comes to bass and bass patterns and rhythms. So the thought just dawned on me actually right yesterday of like, I got to stop using this thing just as a tracking instrument and start using it for layups. It's all about kind of understanding and positioning yourself for success, right? I know that my talent can really show behind the drum kit, but I also know that I need the right setup. I need someone or something to give me that layup so I can do the alley oop on it, right? So I've just been playing a lot of bass licks and patterns, recording them on Ableton, and just changing through each pattern and then recording various drum tracks to them with the MIDI kit, obviously the electronic kit, to eventually take it to the rehearsal space. And this is just part of my new process. And I swear, I feel like I have a new process every week, and that's okay. I think that's okay. It's all about kind of working through. And the goal here, the goal with this new process, and a goal that I encourage all of you guys to have as well, is to find your alley oop. What is your alley oop? What is your softball? What is the thing that like can make your talent really show? I'm not the best producer, frankly. I'm not the best piano player. I'm not even the best drummer. Like there are people who can just completely run circles around me. I'm Viuta. What up? What's cracking? You submit a song by using the QR code on the top left. I think it's on your screen. Maybe this is mirrored, but there should be a QR code on the top corner there. And if you can't use that, go to theartistpro.com to submit a track, and we will all listen to it. I'm going to throw a link right there. There you go. You can submit there as well. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is you want to do the things that allow your talent to show. We're all not great at everything. It's impossible. But I do know that my most fluent instrument, the one that I could be the most confident behind, and the one that I really feel like the most fullest form of talent that shows is behind the drums. So my whole thought process now is, what can I do to just alley-oop myself, just to give myself softballs? And one of the things I know is to come up with just dope bass patterns. Simple, easy things, because if you give me a basic like 8-bar loop of a bass pattern, I can give you like 12, 14 drum patterns like right away, So my challenge is to not only create that, but also how do I perform that? That's the next phase. Once I'm back from this vacation, that's the next phase I want to do. Is like, how can I like come up with dope bass licks, loop them pretty instantaneously, literally turn around and start going to town on the drums. I've decided I want to be more of a drum forward kind of artist because that's my strongest thing, But I also do want to bring back what made Rizit cool in the first place, which was, the emotional piano, melodramatic stuff. And I'm getting closer and closer to what I think this dynamic could be of like rockin' live drums, because that's my past. I grew up in rock bands, but I also really embraced the opposite side of that spectrum, which was like beautiful neoclassic, even symphonic item. So that's part of the new process, playing bass and playing drums and being my own rhythm section in that regard. And again, most importantly, having fun. Having fun is the most important thing. Okay, so I had a video I wanted to kind of show you guys too, but I want to see if we got some submissions. We do. James Shen in the building, I think, because he submitted a track, but I don't see him in the chat. James Shen, if you are in the chat, say what's up. It's good to see you again. We'll see your name anyway, virtually. Okay, I do have a video I want to pull up before we get to the tracks today. There he is, James Shen in the building. I am Viuta. Am I saying that correctly? I'm Viuta. I'm looking for your submission. I don't see it yet. I'm gonna keep refreshing, but then oh wait, yes, I saw it. I saw it. Okay, I want to pull up this quick thing real quick that I saw on Instagram of all places. But it really struck a chord with me and a few other folks that I sent it to, and it came from an unlikely place. Let me go. Yeah, I got you. Cool. Oh, by the way, I'm Vita. Where are you coming from? Where in the world are you? I'm always very interested to know where people are finding the show from. So go ahead and let me know that. I'm going to pull up a quick video that I want to talk about very shortly after this. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Chrome tab. Yep. Sharing. All right, I'm going to shut up. I'm just going to pull this up and I'll meet you guys back in maybe like a minute or so. We can talk about this. Here we go.
I want to say as an answer to you is, as you begin to find your way of working and you bump into something, you go, I can't make this work. Be gentle with yourself. Larry, I keep quoting Larry Moss because I studied with him for 14 years, and he's quite brilliant. You don't yell at a bud because it isn't a flower yet. It's gonna be a flower, but it opens when it's time for it to open. If you're working on something that is beyond your ability at the moment, it doesn't mean it will be beyond your ability in a month, but at the moment, it's gonna frustrate the hell out of you. Acknowledge it and go, I'm not getting this. I'm not achieving what I want to achieve right now. Tomorrow. I'll make another choice tomorrow. I'll look at one of these elements another way. Or I need to go out and observe something that is this in life and see if I can learn something from that. But there's very little that, that I would answer in any other way to your question about have I hit a wall on something and I don't know if it pays to persevere and be brave and force it through or to retreat for a little bit. I don't think I've ever come across that in my professional life because they wouldn't cast me unless I was able to do it to some degree.
So let me get at it. There I am. Okay, cool. Yes, of all places, George Costanza offering the words of wisdom there, and I really resonated with that. I mean, look, we've all heard the classic, the take of like, there's the gap between your taste and your ability. I think a lot of us get into this because we think we have taste and we want to contribute to that, and we want to take things at least a step further and do so through the process of our own self-discovery. That's the classic cliche kind of thing. But what I love about that particular video is it really focuses on this thing of this almost basically it's like forgiveness a little bit. And I mean, you heard him, like you can't really, you won't yell at a plant or a flower for not budding. It's part of the process, but it's going to do that as long as you, again, not to be so like cliche, but it makes sense. Cliches are cliches for a reason. As long as you continue to create fertile soil for your art. Fertile soil could be anything from the people you hang out with to your habits, obviously, to surrounding yourself with instruments that actually inspire you, to listening to artists that inspire you, to going to shows, to concerts. I go to shows and concerts. I honestly, I don't know if I go to them for pure enjoyment anymore. If I am, it's because I'm a huge fan. But I'm really going to I pick and choose the shows I go to. Again, if there's not like an industry obligation I have, or not even obligation, but industry opportunity, to go to a show, I'm going for research purposes. I'm going for inspiration. I'm going to model. That's why I go to shows. So that's part of my fertile soil. And again, books, podcasts, people really to me is the biggest contributor to fertile soil, being surrounded with other artists. And again, this is why I do this show for you guys too. And I do it for me as well, to be around y'all, because some of us are in rooms just like this and that's all we have. One of the biggest reasons I got into music was for the hang, to be around other creative people. So if you can't be with them, all the time regularly, at least you have this show and everyone in this chat. In fact, if you're in this chat right now and you haven't said anything, say something and start by throwing in your Instagram handle or whatever social media so everyone can follow everyone and know what's up. There, I just did mine right there. I want to make sure that everyone at least feels they have some semblance of community, even if it's in a group as small as this, you have that. So fertile soil, you want to make sure that you're watering that soil on a regular basis. You want to make sure that you are participating, you're doing the work, you're doing what you can, right, to keep that plant budding continuously. And I don't know, I feel like in the same way, if you abandon a plant, it will die. It will start to go down. It may not die completely. I mean, I have plants in my fucking house that, like, I'm so shocked that came back to life, but you got to do it. Dom Rocks, what's cracking, dude? Good to have you on the show. Please submit a track so we can check you out and listen to some tunes. So I love the analogy there of you're not going to yell at a plant, because at least I know when I'm in this room and I have these little mini, and I'm talking like mini breakthroughs of like the one the example I talked about earlier of like how I'm using bass lines to basically give myself softballs behind the drums now. You know what I mean? That's a form of progress. That's part of watering it. I have a vision of what the plant could look like, but I'm not screaming at it because I have to go through all these stages. I encourage you guys to do the same thing, to give yourself the grace of growth. That's a phrase that when I first got introduced to it, I don't know why, but it really stuck with me. The grace of growth. Allow the grace of growth for others, whether it's through forgiveness. I used to be a fucking cold-blooded person. Like, if you crossed me or crossed someone I really cared about, this might be a Scorpio thing too, by the way, you're out, you're done, you're dead to me, man. Like, I don't know. I used to have the kind of zero tolerance policy for these things and assume even as the years went on that, like, no, they hurt me or hurt someone I know like 5 years ago, they're done. The grace of growth for others also applies to yourself. The grace of growth for yourself, you have to allow yourself the grace, because there is grace in growing. So make sure that you know that and you guys can feel that. Okay, that being said, are we ready to listen to music? Because I am. I got the speakers pulled up over here, the monitors as well. Let's see what y'all submitted. Let's take a listen. I'm going to go in sequential order for first come, first serve. Ooh, here we go. Now they're coming in. Oh yeah, now they're coming in. Okay. First of all, is the Bands here, BANS, because he or she submitted July 13th. So they're a step of everyone who submitted today. I don't think the Bands is in, if that's the case. If we're not going to go in sequential, we do give precedent to the newbies. So, Viuta, you submitted something just now, and you're a newbie. So we always give precedent as well to those if it's their first time. So I'm going to pull up your track right over here. All right, I got it pulled up. And let me go ahead and pull up the stream. There she is. And I'm going to pop down. Before we listen, I Am Viuta is from, I think I saw this from Jersey. Yep, from Jersey. What's cracking? Good to have you here. Let's see. The artist name is Viuta. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I asked him to describe the project in 2 words. Very emotional. Okay, you got me interested. I'm all about emotional kind of music. The track is called You Don't Care, as you guys can see here. And when asked to tell me anything about it, it says very alternative and indie. And we will check out his gram. We will check out the Instagram in a little bit after the track. And his question today is, how am I? I'm quite well. I hope you are well too. Okay, let's check out Nothing But Viuta. Or is it just Viuta? It's probably just Viuta. Let's check out the track. It's called You Don't Care. Here on the Artist Pro stream, the final Artist Pro stream for 3 weeks before I'm out of here on vacation. So let's make it a good one. Here we go. Viuta, You Don't Care.
Listening to you when you were mine.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Oh, hello, Mr. Daniel Dan Leak. Dan Leak. Do I give feedback about EDM or dub? Yeah, dude. We do it all on this show. Hold on, let me get myself out of here. There I am. Okay. Let me pull myself back up here. To answer your question, yes, we submit. Yeah, you can submit anything. In fact, if you would have joined the show last week, it was like all dubstep and EDM. So please submit the track. Go ahead and use that QR code in the corner there, or go to theartistpro.com to submit a track. Okay, I've got thoughts on this one. So let me go ahead and pull up my notes. And again, remember, you guys, if you see me typing away, I'm not texting a chick or something. I am just, well, hopefully. Maybe I am, but I'm not this time. I'm giving feedback on tracks here. So that being said, I got a couple thoughts. This sounds very Deftones inspired in a number of ways. Particularly when I like that song. Actually, a lot of their songs kind of sound like this now that I think about it. So before I go into any more of this feedback, I do want to ask you, Vuta, what are your goals? Because I need to tailor this feedback specifically to what you're doing. Is this a solo thing? Like, are you making the tracks and singing, one man band, one man production thing? Do you want to start a band, or do you want to be a solo artist with the band kind of supporting? So I kind of need to know what you're doing and what you're all about. Chris Kane, what's up, dog? Welcome back from vacation in Florida and Jamaica. Tell us a story. Tell us a dope story if you can while you're in the chat here. Okay, so Vuta, let me know what your goals are there. Do you want to be a band? Do you want to be in a band, or do you want to be the artist with a band? If that makes any sense. Okay, the vocals themselves are very quiet. From a mix standpoint, we'll just start with a very obvious thing. And by the way, everyone, hello. If you're in this chat, give some feedback too. I'm just one person's opinion, right? We need everyone's feedback and opinion as well, please. Vocals were very, very quiet, and they were buried. So when the track started, I wasn't exactly sure. And actually, you know what? I gotta pull up the track so I can pull up certain things. I wasn't exactly sure where you were taking this. So when I think it was over here where we started. No. Yeah, since they're so buried, I wasn't sure if this was an intentional kind of stylistic choice. So I was going to say, you got to go one or two direct. You're kind of in no man's land right now. You're in the middle ground because if you're going to go for straight vocal, bring it out more so I can really, really hear you. And you kind of got to go for it a bit more. Your vocal is a bit, you're holding back, but I know that's also kind of like that Deftones style. So I don't want to, say that's not what you're going for. Although I would encourage you to not go for that, or at least to leave that pretty quickly, because look, dude, there's already a band doing that. They're called the Deftones. You don't want to be another Deftones. So either you're going to bring the vocal up and just kind of go for it and maybe include your own kind of element of sound design, or if you're going to stay kind of buried in the mix a little bit and you're going to go for more of a vibe effect, then you really got to lean more into the sound design. So get the Sound Toys bundle and go crazy, basically. Or do what you got to do. Just make it more, I don't know, interesting from a sound design kind of perspective, whether that's like swells leading in or really messing with delays and whatever you got to do. To make it more of an instrument, but more of like a sound design instrument. Of course, the vocal is an instrument, but oftentimes, especially for this kind of stuff, the vocal is a lead. You know, it's very much a lead thing. So if you're going for atmosphere, I just need more atmosphere with it. So there's that note. The next thing I had here is could have used a bit more variety in the guitar. See how it's pretty much the same thing all the way through? Imagine if you were in a band or you had a band up there and the guitar players played the same things throughout the entire song. Not exactly interesting, right? It's great to set tone and establish something, but let us feel the different sections. He says it's just a demo for right now. Mostly didn't do it all. I do more R&B. That's cool, man. Again, pretty much everything people do on this stream is a demo, so it's totally fun. So definitely a bit more variety in the guitar. The other obvious thing I'm going to say, because you sent this track to a drummer hosting the show. I know it's just a demo, but I'm going to need some live drums. That's one thing, you guys, that you just can't get around. Trust me, as someone who has every drum plugin there is, as someone who has co-founded a sample library company for drums, even though we're sampling like the dopest, best drums, I'm just telling you, there is no substitute for a real player in a real room. That's one thing I don't think is ever going to go out of demand. Obviously, I'm biased. I'm a drummer. But you need acoustic, real drums for the explosiveness, you know? You can't really capture that with plugins. So that's the obvious getting out of the way. But here's the big thing I want to tell you right now is in your chorus section. Actually, let's give it some build up so we can hear the contrast, or lack thereof. Spoiler alert. Okay, if this is going to be the chorus or the big explosion, it needs to just be bigger and it needs to feel like we've shifted 2 to 3 different gears. So the vocal technique and the vocal production is the same. From here to here. I'm going to need layered vocals. If you want to use the Deftones, because clearly this is influenced by the Deftones, if you want to use some of that as an idea, notice how maybe in the verses, you know, the vocals tend to be a little more centered and more straightforward with some sound design. And the chorus, they tend to do two things. One, they tend to expand, I've noticed in those kinds of tracks. And then they tend to incorporate multiple forms of vocal production. They'll have like maybe like 3 or 4 different harmonies panned, right? That are clean, that are relatively clean. And then after like the big, I don't know, the big phrase or the big word, then they'll cut into like a sub verse or a sub chorus, you know, lyric of some kind that's centered, that's more like the verses now, you know, but it sounds like there's just more variety. We've come to a big thing here. You know what I mean? Lucy TV, hello, you're French. I have trouble with English, but I like the energy of your live. Or can I send my composition? Oh, welcome. Well, your English seems to be just fine because I understood you perfectly. If you want to scan the QR code in the top corner there that says submit your stuff, or if you want to submit your songs at I'm just going to pin this on the actual chat. Submit your songs at theartistpro.com. You can submit your songs there and we can listen all together. Okay, Vyuta, back to you. So that's the big thing right there is I'm going to need, if you're going to go this route, yeah, the vocals need to be far more explosive on the chorus section so we can really feel that you shift gears. I'm a Deftones fan. I like them. So you kind of you piqued my interest, and it is emotional. I mean, what you described to me in your submission, it is an emotional track. But I just need more and more gears shifted because I feel like we shifted maybe 2, 1 and 2, and that's totally fine. If I can find an example actually of the differences between, do I have an example? If I can maybe show you. I think this actually might work. Hold on. Let me see if this works for me. So I'm going to quickly stop the stream, not the stream, but the screen share. And I want to see if I can share a quick little clip Actually, you know what? I don't want to share this clip because I just realized I'm playing drums and I'm covering another song, and I don't want to get flagged. So the hell with that. But what I can do instead, actually, what I can do instead is pull up a video of me playing live drums on a track as a quick little contrast to show you the difference of real drums. Obviously, again, I'm biased. But let me quickly pull this up for y'all so you can see it. Let me pull her up over here. Yeah, I'm glad I caught that. In Vuta, I've ever heard of Quonic. No, I have not. What is Quonic? And has anyone else heard of Quonic? I'm curious. All right. Compare the drums that we just heard. Actually, I'll show you a better one. This one might be a little more explosive. This is a little thing I whipped up a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, even this dude right here. Those drums sound amazing. Yeah, other producers, when you hear live drums, they know. Like, okay, someone actually went out of their way to record live drums. It makes a huge difference. Mostly in the cymbals, guys. In the cymbals. And again, you got to do what makes you. I kind of compose like a drummer. It's kind of obvious. I kind of let the drums lead. Like I said, I'm a drum board artist. Yo, that's it. Just want to give you guys a difference of what live drums can really do. So there's that. All right. Oh, thank you guys very much for the kind word. Do I, Mr. Daniel? Am I saying this right? Dan Leek? Dan Leek? Am I saying that right? Also, where are you coming from, by the way, bro? Because I want to know where everyone is coming from on this stream. Do I love more transient drums or expanded? I don't know. I don't really have a preference. Like, in fact, the videos that you guys heard, in fact, the producer that commented, "Oh my god, like those drums sound amazing." What I replied to him was, "I didn't do much to them." That's actually a very stripped production technique. It's literally just really good tuning. You got to know how to tune the drums really well. And guys, you want the secret sauce? Just basic compression and EQ. That's it. There's no saturation on anything really. There's no drum replacement. You just got to know how to tune your drums really well and buy good drums. I mean, that snare drum alone is worth more than a lot of people's entire drum sets. Like, it's a really good bell bar snare drum, and good cymbals and just basic EQ. I don't know, but that's also my style. I like to hear back what I'm playing. I don't want to change the sound too much because acoustic drums inspire the hell out of me. And I think if you have a really good drum set and a really good selection of cymbals, an array of cymbals, it sounds great, and I don't want to fuck with that. So I just don't. Okay. What else do we got here? Invita, we have to collab. Thank you very much, dude. Yeah, I mean, stick around. I appreciate you coming through again. This stream we do every Monday. We're just not going to do it for the next 3 weeks or so because I'm going out on my summer vacation. But if you want to stay in touch with me, follow the gram, follow at ArtistPro on all socials, etc. We're not done, by the way. I'm just letting you guys know that I'm going to be out for 3 weeks on vacation. KLB, say fucking hell. How do I say this? KLB Sageling. What's up? What's cracking? Submit a track. Use the QR code in the corner there to submit a song, or go to theartistpro.com to submit a track. Okay, speaking of tracks and submitting, let's move on. Vuta, thank you very much for submitting. Let's see if we have anyone else that's new that submitted a track, because we do always give precedent to the new folks. Oh shit, we have hella people who've submitted music. Let's get to it. Oliver Blue, I do see your submission, and James Shen. Let me get to some new folks, and then oh, Chris Kane even got one too. Chris Kane, you submitted a track. It's so good to see your name back, dude. Okay, let's go in. I guess the order of those who've submitted. Is Pex L in the building? We always give precedent, by the way, if this is your first time on the stream, we always give precedent to people who are in the chat. So Pex L, are you here? Are you in the oh, that's you. Okay, word. Mr. Dan Leek, let me go ahead and pull you up then. You are in the chat. Again, if you submit and you're in the chat, you get dibs. It's kind of how this whole thing works because I usually, as you guys saw, have questions. And I need to know more context before I say, sounds dope, bro, fire emoji. I just want to make sure that I get some context here. So here we are. Oh, Just Zale, what's up? What's cracking? Come through, submit a track, use the QR code, or go to theartistpro.com to submit a track. Let me go ahead and pull up Pex L. First question right off the bat, sir, is what is the etymology of the name Pex L? What does that name mean? Where are you? What's it from? Let me go ahead and pull up your track. All right, here we are. In his submission, Pex L, I asked him to describe the project in 2 words. He says bass stuff, word. And the track, as you call it, is what's this called here? What is this called? New World? Is this a? Oh, it's a remix. It's a remix. Okay, cool. 27-year-old Spanish guy from Tenerife, Spain. Hola, buenos. And then his question is, what do you do? What are things to improve the track or things I would add? Well, that's kind of goes without saying. We're going to pull that up right now. So that being said, let's pull up the track, which it is, and let's listen on the SoundCloud link. All right, cool. Here we go. If you guys have real feedback as well, please put it in the chat. It's not just me yapping up here. I want to hear you guys as well. I want to hear your feedback because everyone here has an ear. And if you're making music, my whole theory is that you also have taste to varying degrees. So I want to make sure that everyone has a piece of the say here. So here we go. Without further ado, Pex L, the New World remix on the Artist Pro stream. Hold on, I'm saying you're hearing no sound. Is anyone else not getting sound? I'm getting sound. I'm getting plenty of sound. Who else is not getting? You guys not getting sound? Let me know in the chat if you guys aren't getting sound because I'm getting plenty. No sound. What the hell? Okay, hang on. Maybe we got to refresh this or something. Let me. Oh, I know what's going on. My bad, y'all. I know exactly what's going on. Rookie move. Okay. Now I just have to refresh. My bad, you guys. I remember I shared that Instagram video. Now you should be getting some sound. Sound? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Word. All right, very nice. Print dev music. What are dibs? It just means you get first priorities. You get access. You get early. If you submit a track and you're new to the show, you get the priority to go first. That's all what dibs is. Lost in translation. I'm sorry about that. All right, Pex L. Can I call you Pex L? Is that cool? I mean, it's your artist name. You got to adopt the name. Couple of questions before I go into the specific feedback. Um, Two things. One, what of this track, and please answer this in the chat. And by the way, you guys, let's get some feedback in here. You know, don't let this just be me. What did you guys like about it? What did you not like about it? What would you improve, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What of this track is from the original and what is all new? That's the first question I have for you. And the most important question I think I can ask you, really, since this is the only song that I know. And reminder, if you guys do join this stream, as many of the folks in this chat, like the Oliver Blues, the James Shens, can attest to, is that the more you submit your music, the more not just me, but all of us are kind of gonna get to know your sound a bit more and give even better feedback, because it's kind of hard to give like one-off feedback aside from just the basics of, like, you know, mixing, production and shit. But I think the whole idea of really knowing someone's sound through continuous discovery, that's when the really good feedback starts to come in, because you can start to identify what makes them them. That being said, the second question I have is, if you had to either, and by the way, you can literally point me to a timestamp if you want, Pexel. What of this track is Pexel? And I mean, like, what of this is your signature sound, production? Is there an instrument or a few instruments that are just totally you? Is there a particular rhythm that's totally you? Is there a piece of, you know, ear candy that's completely you? What of this is your signature, like, stamp? I want to know if you can even identify that, and if we can even go back and listen to that in real time and kind of decipher that. So let me know in the chat. He says, I usually make a lot of melodic music because my music is very melodic. That makes sense. I can definitely pick up on some of that. I was doing color music. Okay, cool. So, but let us know, like, what of this? I mean, look, this sounds okay. Here comes general feedback. This sounds like a very well produced, you know, electronic EDM bass music kind of track. No worries, dude. Your English is totally fine. So, from a production standpoint, a couple things. I do appreciate and I do notice that this track is very polished. That's very good. I do like the multiple drum patterns. You kept my interest throughout. The first drop, I mean, look, I don't want to always limit every track like this to the drops, because that kind of diffuses the tension. I feel like everything before the drop felt like good listening, just very nice listening. The real tension didn't really build till maybe here. Okay, and what I'm going to say here might be a little of a hot take, but we've listened to so much electronic music on this channel, and I have listened to so much over the years. I'm always going to push you guys and encourage you to do more within your established genre or niche, whatever it might be. So the fact that we have this as a build, there it is, that, you know, that kick drum on every quarter note. The snares, you know, those 16, 30-second notes. It sounds like it's really well produced and well polished. It's nothing's really making me go, whoa, who the fuck is that? I feel like in many ways, if you can really get to a place of true self-discovery and self-investigation where you really do sound unique and stand out, is when someone goes, who the fuck is that? Holy shit, what was that? If you can do more to change your approach to the established parameters of what makes a track in that genre, I encourage you to do that. So whether that's having like a reverse drop, an inverse drop, or doing some more with some different sound design elements, or doing something completely different, but with the same kind of impact. So when the drop happens, it's a drop we've never heard before, even if the tension was just built differently. That's it. The tension was just built a little differently. And if you can keep doing that and get really good at that and refine that technique, and then we start hearing that on 3 tracks, 4 tracks, 6 tracks, but before you know it, you're gonna be like, oh, that's a Pexel track. That's the way he does his drops. He's got his own signature thing. This sounds like a very well produced electronic music track, dubstep track, whatever you want to call it. And that's about all I can say about it. And I don't mean that, again, in a harsh way or anything. I'm just being completely real. It just sounds like a really well polished track. It sounds like someone who went to a really good production school, like an Icon Collective. Shout out to all the Icon folks who may have went there and may have been a fan of this kind of music. It sounds like you got to the point where you learned how to do it, where you learned how to make the music that you've been listening to. And now you're ready to move on from that. Like, okay, you can make back the music that you like to listen to. Can you make your own version? Can you make something different? Can you contribute something new to the scene? That's it. And I say that as a pat on the back because, again, it's polished, dude. There's actually, I think, the second drop, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're the same. Are they the same drop? Oh, I like that art right there. Yeah, I like that part. And something I said on the last stream, by the way, it says, no, the lead is new. Okay, cool. Something I said on the last stream too, just having hung out around so many dubstep artists, is what I really love about the genre is the moments, the glitchiness, the weird, like the ear fuckery, I guess I can call it. And I know everyone has a degree of taste to that. Not everyone likes an entire track like that. I like a little bit. I don't like a track that's all sound design. Like, look at me whip out my dick of sound design. Look how crazy I can just do sound design. I don't know. Sometimes it's not very musical to me. I like a blend. Let's go to 140. He points out. Yeah. That's a good example of like that's musical, that's sound designy. It's not exactly melodic, as you pointed out that you do melodic stuff, but again, it's serving its purpose. At 4 minutes long, I felt like I got the gist of the song, like by here, frankly, by the 2 minute mark. But that's just my ear. Again, everyone has a different ear. I'm also kind of jaded in the sense that I've heard so much of this music over the years. But I also therefore know when someone does it well. And I also know when someone has the potential to kind of go beyond that. I think you have the potential to kind of go beyond that at this point. But I can't say anything else about it other than that it's really well done. It's well produced. I just challenge you to go further, to go even further. What else can you do? And keep coming back to the stream. Keep joining us. Join us again in 3 weeks when I'm back from my trip. And I want to hear more. I want to hear more about what you're doing. And I want to hear more about how you're pushing yourself and perhaps even pushing the boundaries of the music you're making. That's always a good goal to have. All right. But Pexel, I thank you. Throw us your gram, by the way, so everyone can follow him. Or TikTok, whatever you want to share. Throw your social in there so we can all follow you and keep tabs on you. Let's move on. What else we got here? We're gonna go. Ooh, you guys are submitting some tunes today. I fucking love it. Is Zale Zayle? Are you in the house? Zale? The flower base. Oh, word. Please tell me you're here so I can pull this up. My pleasure. Thank you for joining. Zale, are you here? I could have sworn I saw Zale saying something in the chat earlier. There, just Zale. I know you're there somewhere. Just Zale, please let me know if you're here, because if you're here, I'm pulling you up your track right now. And if you're not, we're going to move on to someone else who is in the chat. That's definitely a priority, to give dibs or to give priority. Just leave it at priority to those. I don't want to get my things lost in translation. If Zale is not here, we're going to go to Dom Rocks. Oh, Zale, there you are. Here you are. Let me pull up the track. Thank you very much. And I can hear my dog whimpering in the backyard, so I'm going to let her in while this is playing. But don't worry, I will be blasting this super fucking loud so I can hear it as I run away. Okay. Here is the track. It's called Orbit. Okay. I asked to describe the track in 2 words. Flower bass. I'm intrigued. Can I tell us anything about it? It says sang and produced by me. Word. And no questions submitted. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll still have questions for you probably. This is going to be Zale. Zale, where are you coming from, by the way? Where in the world are you? I should just add that to like the type form. Actually, I'm going to make a note to just do that, so I don't have to keep asking you guys where you are. Add location to type form. I have to make a note for everything I do because I will forget every fucking thing I do. California. Where in California? I'm in California. I'm in Los Angeles. Where are you from? Please type that. I'm gonna let the dog in. I'm gonna blast Orbit by Zale, capital OR. Any particular reason why that's capitalized? Let me know there too. Here we go. This is Orbit by Zale, coming from Auburn, California, on the Artist Pro stream, the final stream for 3 weeks before we go on vacation. And so far, it is a good one. I appreciate all the new people, all the new music. Let's listen to some flower bass.
Gang, a door.
I wonder where it leads.
We'll never know.
Stuck in orbit, mayday. Miss my home, my baby. I can't survive without you. Caught up in rotation. Lost current location. I'll just float here missing you.
Zale, yo, word. All right, all right, all right, all right. So more than like the feedback, more than like the feedback part of it. I just want to tell you. Let me just drop the thing real quick. Let me get out of here. So let me talk to y'all. More than the feedback that I can give right now, you did the thing that I feel like should be the real ultimate goal, frankly, as an up and coming artist, is that you intrigued me enough to look you up. I decided to go to your website. I heard a sound, I heard something, especially in the context that you told me you produced and sang on this. So that's very, very important to me. You did the thing where it intrigued me enough, and there was enough time that had gone by where I went, okay, who the fuck is this? And where are they coming from? And why are they the way they are? I think that's always been a big thing, at least for me as a music discoverer. If I hear something from someone and they tell me and I hear it and I just have this feeling of like, tell me who you are that I so am not, or tell me who you are and where you come from that I so do not come from. That's kind of why I really enjoyed like a lot of hip hop, especially when I was younger. I grew up in a relatively suburban environment, but I also went to like, the cities and whatnot. I was very close to San Francisco. So I was really attracted to, rap music in the streets. I'm like, tell me, I'm all about storytelling. Tell me where you come from that clearly I don't. I'm fucking intrigued by this. Right. And from a musical standpoint, like the kinds of sounds that you're arranging and the kind of style that you're going for here is just nothing that I personally would do. In this, and I mean that in a good way of like, oh, I haven't thought of that before. Of like, interesting. I didn't realize that could work, or like it's striking nerves that I never really realized were there to be struck. So it's in those moments where I go, who the fuck is Ale? Who the fuck? So I went to your Spotify. A little disappointed to see that all I saw was Home of Flower Base. In fact, we can do a quick screen share of that. We'll do that later. I want to get to the actual track. I kind of want to know, yeah, like where and how the hell did you start making this music? Like why is it? I can understand Flower Base from an audio standpoint. So, for instance, here.
Caught up in rotation, lost current location.
Like that vibe is very heavenly, right? You got your own kind of thing going on with the vocal there, but from the pads, the samples, that high note especially, come on, it sounds like flowers blooming. It sounds like a garden of flowers. So the name is like spot on, dude. I really do like the idea of flower base. And what's really dope, and also I think an opportunity here for you in terms of feedback, is to use this vocal style then more that see, especially right here. It's sound design. That's super dope. Okay, so what I'd love to hear more of is just more expansion of that sound, of that production sound. So for instance, you notice how I pointed here. Might as well have just been copy and pasted, right? It's like the same vocal. And this is a theme, by the way, that I hear on so many people who submit music. It's a common theme that the tracks kind of stop, like really developing and progressing from a vocal standpoint, especially for someone like you, who your vocal is part of your sound design. Boy, what I would have loved to have heard by this point is either more sound design to really like widen and thicken out that sound, or harmonies. I feel the biggest missed opportunity on this track, and maybe again for potentially your sound, keep sticking around and submitting songs so we can get to know your sound a bit more, is harmonies. And imagine like on this drop right here, instead of that sound design thing, if you, again, to continue the theme of a flower garden, of being surrounded by beauty. Oh, I have an idea actually. If you want to continue the theme of the flower base, how a flower garden has multiple types of flowers, right? Different colors, different styles, but they all work in harmony to create, this euphoric effect when you walk into one. Dog, I feel like you got to have some harmonies on this. If you really want to go that direction, again, this is your art, not mine. Take it with a grain or amount of salt. But as a listener who just like discovered you and wants to learn a bit more, two things. One, you're leaving more to be desired in the form of harmonies. I think that would really make you stand out. And I'd love to learn more about you and who you are and what you're doing. So to give you an example of that, I ran to your Spotify, within maybe like a minute of all of this. And I'm not sharing. Here I am. Hello. There we are. And I saw that, like, home of flower base. That's it. One photo. I mean, I get the idea of like, mystery and intrigue, but like, I just felt like there was so much more. Like, I mean, you mentioned here in the chat here, where are you? I grew up in the woods outside of SF, essentially in like Muir Woods or something, essentially. So that's my geographical backstory. But again, like, why are you making this kind of music? What's your vocal background? Do you even have a vocal background? Not that it even really matters if you don't, because you're doing something here. Why are you making this style of music? Is there anything that you're trying to say to us by creating this like euphoric idea of flower base? And again, like, flower base is a very marketable term, by the way. You can really run with this. This is, if you can really identify like a style or a genre, a niche like this, you can really be the captain of it. I feel like that should be everyone's real goal. If you do kind of coin, a unique niche, how do you become like the nucleus of it? How do you host events? Maybe you start a record label? Do you start a playlist? Do you find artists? Do you collab with artists that can really fit within this kind of vibe? Do you put on an event? Do you put on an event full of artists that kind of have this flower power, party, I guess you can call it, right? It's like a new interpretation of like the hippie movement. They're just, see how marketable this is? Like, a factor that makes something very marketable is that if it has lots of room for that kind of expansion, that kind of idea of so many things can be birthed out of it. And the idea of flower base has a lot that can be birthed out of it. I really dug what I heard, and I don't want to give any really more feedback besides what I think could be that just can make it better in the form of harmonies. Otherwise, this sounds like someone who's just doing their thing. So I don't really have hard feedback for someone who kind of just is doing their thing and kind of knows what their thing is, And he says, it's slowly coming together. I'm in a very strong position to do what I want and run with it. Clearly. Oh yeah, I hear it. Dog, I hear it. I really, really hear it. Please stick around. Throw us your socials in the chat so everyone can follow, and join us in a couple of weeks when we're back to do another show, because I want to hear more of this stuff. I really did enjoy this. So, Zale, appreciate you. Thank you for coming. Dom Rocks, I know you're still in the building. I thought I saw you throw in a little thing in the chat here. I'm going to pull you up. Dom Rocks, if you're here, let us know. Let us know, Dom Rocks, if you're here. Just to confirm, I think you're here, but let me just confirm that you're here by saying something. Say something in the chat, because I have your track pulled up right over here. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to go with the assumption that Dom Rocks is here. Stop me if you're not. Dom Rocks. Dom, you here? I mean, I'm kind of curious to see. There he is. Dom Rocks. What's cracking? All right. Dom Rocks. Here you are. The track is... I asked him to describe the project. Psychedelic experimental electronic music. Word. This is an untitled track, and he's messing around with electronic music, normally a rock and folk guy. Okay. That being said, let's pull it up. Let's see what you got. Dom Rocks coming in with an untitled track on the Artist Pro Show. Here we are. Dom rocks, ladies and gentlemen. Dom motherfucking rocks. Thank you for submitting that. What was your guys's? I didn't see any feedback from y'all in the chat. Come on, let's get in there. What'd you guys think? Don't let this just be the me show here. This is y'all's show. Let me just remove this from me. Dom rocks. Couple things. First things first. You described, where was it on your thing here? Psychedelic experimental electronic music. Messing around with electronic music. Normally a rock and folk guy. The rock part for sure. The folk thing, I was kind of hoping to hear more of. I mean, you really look, electronic from rock is, you know, par for the course nowadays. But like with the folk thing, I was really curious to hear like where that would make you really come out. So if you telling me that you have a folk background, I didn't quite hear it in this. And therein lies an opportunity. Because the goal of all of this, again, you guys, besides music just being fun to make, is the self-investigation, the self-discovery, and letting that kind of come through, you know? Not necessarily adding folk instruments. So let me break this down a little bit more. So there are so many other ways to incorporate, like, you know, your past. So it could be either, you know, incorporating an iconic folk song as a sample and like changing that up and manipulating that, or a folk sample, like a vocal sample, and using that as like a big sound design element. I'm not saying add like a slide guitar. I mean, you could, you can add like a Nashville twangy thing if you really kind of wanted to. But like, what can you do that would make it also? It has to make sense. So the vibe of this song was kind of like, yeah, experimental, darker for sure. So again, what could be interesting in that vein? Could you take a song like a folk song that's normally very positive and happy and twist it the fuck up and make it sound hella dark? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever heard someone do that kind of thing before. And again, you may not get it in your first try or your first month or so, but like the video we opened the show with today, kind of talked about, like, if you believe in that flower, you know, don't yell at it for not budding right away. Like, you got to really kind of work on that. But that's one element. Again, I leave it up to you. You're the artist. You know, I'm just something for you to kind of think about, you know. Other kind of general feedback, I will say, like, the rhythm, the rhythm of the interplay between the kick and like that really grimy bass. I like that. Like that particular tone of kick with that attack, I like that shit. Very heavy. I don't like is the snare though. It's just so up front, and it's so long that it just takes up so much space in the mix. I feel like there's a way you can still keep that same level of attack and authority without having it be so pronounced. Or maybe it's an EQ thing, actually. It's just too much snare and too much of that tone of snare too. It kind of like just takes over a little bit. And you do at least have some variety with it. I noticed you did change some of the delay and reverb elements, which is cool. Another moment I liked actually was over here. And this kind of speaks to like the overall thing I'll say about the mix is a little static and flat for me. Like, it doesn't really have a whole lot of dynamics. Like, for instance, the faders, I feel like they're in the same place the whole track. You can kind of tell. So on a moment that actually like has a lot of potential to be really dope from an emotional standpoint is right here. Bum bum bum. I feel like that could either be really big or that could be like the main statement that we're interplaying with. But then you have this hollow synth lead. It's almost like it feels like it's playing the role of the bass, but it's so loud. And I know again that might be what you're going for on the experimental tip, but as a result, nothing is really standing out here. Plus, you have that snare continuing to just like eke its way in. I can definitely appreciate like the different kinds of rhythms there. You have that like nice, synth pad in the background there, but it's buried. I just don't know like who's taking the lead on this section, and as a result, everyone's just kind of fighting for their thing to say. I think the key is you want to make it very clear as to like kind of what's happening, what your intention is. But again, I think it's a cool sound. It sounds like you're still kind of experimenting and figuring it out. Actually, you are, because you literally said that. But what I can say is I can tell that you're kind of experimenting and figuring things out. But that's it. I feel if anything, the real challenge again is to innovate within yourself. Like if you're telling me your past is rock and folk, like the challenge there is, all right, then how do you incorporate that? How do you bring that out? The goal, of course, being singular. How can you be singular? Singular for yourself, right? To make sure that you are doing something that's authentic and true, but also again, like I brought up to Pexel, like where's the you? Where is the you? The undeniable you, like something that if you're not a singer, if you're making instrumental music, it's relatively harder to do because your voice usually is the thing that really stands out, right? But if you're not really actually using your voice, then you have to rely on other things to make your way, a bit more known, I guess you can say, through repetition. And he says, for this style of music, I like a loud bass, a loud drums. Yeah, again, do what makes you fucking move, man. Do whatever makes you want to make more music, is the way I always kind of say it. Like, make music that makes you want to come back in here and make more of that, And again, I feel like you can have loud drums and loud bass, but I feel like this particular mix, maybe wasn't doing the song justice per se. But that's it. That's just my feedback. Blue Prince, being innovative and unique is key to finding yourself. I would actually say it's the other way around. Like finding yourself is the key to being innovative and unique. I feel like that's the real challenge, right? Like how much of your past, how much of your inspiration, and that's why like I always tell folks like don't be bummed if like you're not breaking through at like 19, 20, 25 years old, especially if you've not been making music that long. Like, I feel like the real key is to do the thing that's undeniably you. And like I said in the beginning of the stream, you guys, like, you got to position yourself to let the thing that you think is the most talented part of you come out. Like I said, like for me, I'm a drum forward artist. My new stuff is very drum forward. My old stuff was very piano forward, but I just really loved piano. But really, like I'm a fucking drummer. Like my main thing is a drummer. So I'm always going to set my music up to showcase the drumming. That's going to be the thing that really points me out. And I have a voice. I've got certain, licks and patterns, and I've got certain approaches to rhythm that I kind of do. I have my bag of tricks. So when you hear certain rhythms, you'll know it's me. There's just certain things, and I have my own chords, and I have certain instruments that I use over and over again. So you kind of know it's me, but all those things kind of incorporate to making me me. So Dom Rocks, I encourage you to do the same thing as well. And the best way to do that is what you're doing right now, experimentation. So kudos to you for continuing to experiment, and thank you for submitting a track. Bluey Prince, I'm listening to that song you recommended last time and took some inspiration from it. Thanks for your help. For real. Well, for real, you're fucking welcome. Thank you so much for joining the stream. I think we got time for a few more. Let me go ahead and refresh the submission page. Damn, we have hella stuff coming in. All right. Let's see. The artist name is Angels. Nostrix Music, are you in the building? Are you in this chat? Angels. The song submitted is called ID, but if you're not in the chat, then we're not. Oh, there you are. Oh, that's you. Hello. Alice Angels. What's cracking? Hello. Let me pull you up. Oh, it's an MP3. Okay, so I learned from previous streams how to do this and not fuck up. Right, cool. I already figured it out. This is why you got to experiment, because you will fuck up like I have before on this show. Now I know how to play back MP3s the right way. That being said, let's go ahead and pull you up. The track. Doop, there you are. Okay. Artist name is Angels. Describe the project in 2 words. My ears hurt. Word. Can you tell us about the song When Time Feels Too Slow? Okay, interesting. And when it comes to a question, no other questions. So let's give it a listen. Let's get some feedback going. I know nothing about what I'm about to hear, and therefore I'm intrigued. So let's go ahead and listen to this track now from Angels. And again, please get in the chat, you guys. Let's get some feedback in real time. Here we go. I was muted. Hello. All right. Alyssa Angels. First things first. I got to say, I do got to commend you and applaud you for storytelling. I'm a fan of storytelling. And the fact that you mentioned that this song is about time feeling too slow. I mean, I can hear that. It sounds a little influenced, like a Hans Zimmer influence from Interstellar. The TikToking and whatnot. And I do love how you kind of, even at a 2 minute and 9 second, a very short track, still let it breathe. Good 40. Look at this. What's going? Yeah. Again, storytelling. We're hearing the clock at midnight. Okay, so a couple things. And I'm well aware that for a lot of people, these songs are demos, but I'm just going to kind of go into it. I feel like that oscillated anything that's not the lead, basically, in the bass. I feel like that has the potential to be the star of this moment if it had the right context. So as we're building here, very atmospheric, and you can hear it kind of fading in a little bit. But that's the one element I thought had the most potential for an interesting storytelling element. Like, it kind of just, all it did was turn up. That's it, for the most part. And when it finally dropped, kind of buried, I feel like if we heard that evolve from something, the same way how the track is it's very evolving here. Maybe we heard that sound without all the oscillation first, and we heard it was something. It was telling its own story, and eventually it morphed into that sound. by the time that happened, it's really hitting us because the story has continued. And then from here, I just need it bigger. It's so buried. The piano, especially since it's very, if it's not exactly the same thing we heard earlier, it sounds very similar to what we just heard for the last minute. The only thing that's really progressed here is drums and like an 808 bass. So the piano has done its job already. It's provided that context, it provided the keys, provided the mood, and I feel like the real star of the show could be that sound design oscillating synth back there. Of course, having it actually, been introduced and evolved in an interesting way. Yeah, I had another note here. That melodic line, even, and again, this is the first track that you've submitted, so I need to hear more from you in general. But I'm going to pose the same question I posed to other people: is like, what of this is actually Angels? Like, actually, specifically you? Like, what sound or what style approach would you say that's very much identifiably me? Especially again as an instrumental piece of music here. But the thing I was going to say. I don't know. Again, this is your track, but stylistically, I was thinking that this could be cool as something more real or acoustic or not as synthetic. So instead of using something that sounds very plug-in, I would encourage you to either find someone who could play that back on a real like marimba. You like melodic bell-like sounds. I love melodic bell-like sounds. Like either invest in something like Keyscape from Spectronics or Omnisphere, and really like dial in a sound that's you. So if you like those sounds and you like creating melodies with bell-like sounds, then the first thing I would tell you to do is not go make more music per se, but go build a bank of instruments that you have picked from either Keyscape or Omnisphere. Those have just been the best ones that I found for bells because, first of all, it's just an endless selection. But they also just sound very like lifelike and real. There's a lot of attack to them, and I really, really like that. So what I would do, Alyssa Angels, then is to take your favorite bell sounds and in Ableton or whatever you're using to create a folder of your favorites for sure. And then the next step for you to do there is fuck with them. Do what you can to add as many different effects and all kinds of things to really make them not sound so presetty. She says she's made the bell in a synth. Awesome. More bells. I feel like if that could be what makes you you. And if you are someone who has a collection of bell instruments, so across all your songs, you're just known as someone who incorporates that vibe, the bells, and I would encourage you as much as possible. And it sounds like you're already on it now with the fact that you made that sound, to not use presets as much as possible, to really continue to do the hard work to find your own kind of sound like that. And she says, I'm building a preset bank with my own sounds right now. Perfect. Excellent. And I feel this sound is cool. At least from my ears, again, I was hoping to hear something a little more, especially in the wake of all the other synthetic and electric sounds that were happening. I personally just wanted to hear something a bit more acoustic, something a bit more real, especially in the sense that you have the TikTok, you have like clocks chiming right there. I kind of wanted to hear something a little more, I don't know, more human, I guess. Which again, the first thing I would say, yeah, is build that bank, use those sounds. But if it were me, I would hire, either on Fiverr or SoundBetter or whatever, but someone to play that back using real bells, because you can just tell when it's a real human playing it. And I feel like that would really, really take that to the next level. But that's just me. But I really dug the storytelling the most of the song. And I'm really excited, and I like the fact that you have this bell-like quality to your tracks. That to me is the most interesting and exciting part of the song, actually. The storytelling combined with the bells. And again, we only heard the bells at the very end. Could there have been another opportunity to use a different bell sound, kind of leading into that? That you have the piano here. There'd been a bell to do harmonies with it. Could there have been a bell to do, an arp on top of that? I don't know. Just more to really kind of have you come out a bit more, and not just have the track be decent or to have the track be good, So That's my feedback for that track. Thank you for submitting. I appreciate you. All right. I think we have room and time for maybe one more. Do we have more? Oh my God. We have so many more submissions. If you submitted a track, let me know in the chat. Oh, so he left actually. So he couldn't join anymore. Is Lucy, Luciy in the chat? Let me know. Let me know. Bluey Prince, I got you. I see you. In fact, that you're right there, so I might pull you up now. But is Lucy Luciy in the chat with a track called "Magic Nostalgic"? Oi, oi, there you are. All right, you're here. I gotta pull you up. All right, we'll do both of you guys. We'll do you and then Bluey Prince. You're right after. So let me go ahead and pull up this track. Oh, can you resubmit because it wasn't found? Did you submit a private track? Because if it's private, either make it public or send me the very specific shareable link because the track you submitted did not work. Either you can put it in the chat and I can click it, or you can resubmit whatever way you prefer. In the meantime, Bluey Prince, you're up, assuming your track works. And your track works. All right. All right. Let's go back to the chat. Yeah, Lucy TV, if you don't mind, just resubmit the track. Either make it private or make it public or resubmit the link for it, please. Bluey Prince, you are up. Let me go ahead and pull your track up right here. It's an untitled track. All right. Describe the project. Vibes. Track untitled. Can you tell us about it? I just cooked. Okay, word. I think he just wants us to listen to it. All right, here we go. The untitled track from Bluey Prince.
Feel my heart beat against yours. All I ask is that you trust in me. I just keep on thinking to myself, I don't know if I'm going to fail. I don't know why. Baby, tell me how you feel. Is it something that is real? I don't want any more lies. Vibe with me for one night, baby. I'll give you all my life to see if we were made for each other. You make me feel like I've been so drunk, sipping off of your love. Your love. Your love. Feel my heart beat against yours. All I ask is that you trust in me. Baby, tell me how you feel. Is it something that is real? I don't want any more lies. Vibe with me for one night, baby. I'll give you all my life to see if we were made for each other. You make me feel like I've been so drunk, sipping off of your love. Your love.
All right, Bluey Prince. Very nice. Thank you for submitting. Let me move this out of my face so you guys can actually see me. And actually, before I do that, if you do want to support the stream, you guys, you can use that QR code. Any form of financial support helps. This is a free show, after all. I try to keep it free for as long as possible. If you can't support the show financially, you can always tell a friend. In fact, that's a way I really prefer you guys do support the show. Just tell a homie. Let them know that we're back in 3 weeks. But yeah, let them know that they can come back here anytime and submit music and just kick it. and chill and meet some other artists as well to collab with and meet and kick it with and get feedback from. But if you do like the show and you find any of the feedback useful and you got a few bucks to spare to keep the show going, please submit there. Okay, that being said. So I got a few notes on this one here. So he mentioned, let me just pull them up again here. He's redoing the vocals and adding doubles as well as harmonies. So I won't even bother talking about that kind of stuff. I do like the vocal performance. So of course I was going to say things like I'm going to need a little bit more vocal production, but this is clearly a demo. Let me pull up my notes real quick. Okay, so to get like just straight into it, some technical things I noticed or some things I would have liked to hear at the 40-second mark here. So actually, let's get some more context. So maybe starting here.
I just keep an eye
Okay, so starting at like 15 seconds.
I ask is that you trust in me.
You got that little trap, like little snare. Claps coming in.
I just baby, tell me how you feel. I going too fast.
All right. And as a drummer, I can't believe I'm saying this, but right there at 37, I like that crash. I like that drop sound.
Baby, tell me
I would drop the other auxiliary percussion.
how you feel. Is it something?
Boom, kaboom, 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 boom. I would just keep it 4 on the floor dancing. If anything, also they just kind of got in the way. Like we've heard them for a long time now, and they're not really serving their purpose anymore. Boom, 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 boom. Just keep it minimal, dude. I would say just really keep it minimal. And if you're gonna bring them back later on the second drop. Other note I had here at 108, or this whole section actually.
Made for each other.
Right.
You make me feel like I've been so drunk, sipping
Piano
off
chord.
of your love. Your love.
Right there is as far as I would go to have more of the same piano chords at this point. Either you play it or hire someone or something to really just make it pretty. Kind of like they can hit the chord.
Your love.
Then here, I want to hear more of the keyboard. I want to hear more musical. Right now, it's very much like demo production kind of stuff. And please, if you can, use a real piano because you can always tell. In fact, there's a company I'm working with now that absolutely insists that these kinds of instruments get replaced for their licensing purposes because they know too that you just need the real shit sometimes. Yeah, I'm gonna need some playing here, something pretty, something more that isn't so on the grid, that isn't so repeated, you know. Yep. Another thing I'll say too, generally speaking, actually before I get to that, let's go to 208. I know it's like towards the end, but I feel like once you really flesh this out, this actually might come in handy.
Made for each other. You make me feel like I've been so drunk, sipping off of your
Kind of hear it, boom, 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 boom. Those are strings, I think.
your love. Sipping off of your love.
I don't know if they're like pizzicato strings, but like that needs to be turned way the fuck up. And that needs to be something that's way more pronounced and just that kind of carries that section of the song.
So drunk, sipping off of your love. Your love.
If they're not pizzicato strings, consider using pizzicato strings just for the attack and then fucking with them. Just doing some crazy sound design with them. That's what I would do there. And then the overall note I had was that while I do like the singing and I like the vibe, there is no discernible chorus to me.
I don't know why. Baby, tell me how you feel. Is it something that is real? I don't want any more.
I don't know. Either you got to repeat something or make it more obvious with the vocal like production.
Is something that is real?
It's an untitled song. Like yeah, for a track like this, the chorus has got to be so much more obvious.
I don't want it.
Yeah, make it better. I mean, whatever. I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that, but I feel like with the format of the song and like how you've kind of got us all set up, Like, yeah, I mean, it's gonna need to be a bit more stronger and more discernible. The word I'm gonna use is not necessarily a better hook, dude. Just a more discernible one that's very obvious. And again, simpler is better. Don't overthink this shit. I'm telling you, for this kind of track, especially. But overall, good stuff, dude. Good stuff, especially for like an early demo. It's all good. I do dig it. Let's see if Lucy, if your track is working now. Let's see if it's working. And yep, Magic Nostalgic. There it is. Let's go ahead and listen to Lucy, and we'll wrap up and get out of here. Experimental. Ooh, actually, before I do that, let me go ahead and share the screen. Boom, boom. All right, cool. The track is called Magic Nostalgic. Experimental music, a contrast between magic and explosion. That's it. And he says he's not in English, can use a translator. It's all good. Let's go ahead and listen to the track and give him some feedback. Lucy, very nice. Very, very nice. I gotta say, that did not go where I thought it was gonna go. Let me remove this. I actually really loved the first half. The first half was very, very interesting. Especially here. I mean, this sounds like you got some keyscape over here. I like the chords. They're very mysterious, very otherworldly. Like a mellotron over here or something like that. I love that kind of stuff. And I like how all this is kind of building. It kind of set up a little bit. I would say like almost like so the first 90 seconds I would say is its own track. Like if you were cutting like an album or an EP or something, like this is track one right here, the first 90 seconds. But what I would do though to introduce the drum and bass part. So having the drum and bass kind of just fade in like that. Yeah, what I would do differently is like I would have this be a very beautiful kind of moment and have some kind of sound design that kind of builds like a cool fill or something like that, rather than just like I feel like you're kind of giving away some of like the sauce. Like I wasn't expecting, yeah, but I feel like having it fade in kind of kills it a little bit, actually. So I would consider making this 2 tracks. The first 90 seconds is its own track because it's its own thing, personally, and then have a fill of some kind that's very like aggressive and interesting to get us straight here. Yeah, that's what I would do differently. That's all I would do differently. Otherwise, I think it's really, 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 really dope. I love the chords. I love that. Like, yeah, that melodic kind of vibe. Very nice stuff, Lucy. Well, everyone, thank you for joining the final stream of this first, I guess, round or season. Remember, I am out of here for 3 weeks. 3 whole weeks on vacation. I can't fucking wait. We will be back to do another show. Follow the gram, follow at ArtistPro. I might even send an email out to those who've submitted their emails to this to let you know when we're back. We may be back Monday, August 14th, but that's still a travel day for me, so I may not do it that day, but we are definitely back Monday, August 21st. So keep that in mind. I will send you guys an email. Hopefully you guys did submit your emails when you submitted your songs so I can let you all know. And if you didn't, then just stick around and check the socials and be informed when we're back here. So for sure, no matter what, August 21st, we are back. Until then, I'm out of here. I'm going to Istanbul. I'm going to Jordan. I'm going to be kicking it all over the Middle East. So I'm going on my summer vacation, y'all. But in the meantime, thank you for being part of the show this entire time. Remember, tell a friend. And if you got it in your heart, if you got it in your pocketbooks, reach down and submit a little financial contribution. If not, I appreciate the least you telling a friend or two. But I want to wish you guys a great week, a great time making music, and please be safe. Enjoy the summertime, and I'll catch you back here on the 21st. Till